All right. Happy Mother's Day. People are still, well, we couldn't schedule this because we had to do it based on Liam's nap time. So we just popped up. But people have been asking, when is Joanne coming to the tea time? And I felt like Mother's Day was the perfect opportunity. So I see some people in here. If you could share this and like this, I'm over here sharing and liking as well. Um, and we'll get started. I will introduce my mom. I don't usually call my mother by her first name, but for the purposes of this video, I have to introduce her by her name for those that don't know her. So I'll give it a couple more seconds and then I'll bring mom up. Okay, I think I shared everywhere. So with that, um, you hear me talk about her all the time. She schlepped me all across the country and the world, and now uh, following me and my son, well, across Texas due to COVID. But oh no. She has some stories to tell of her own. I think she will definitely like to share how I got my talent from her. It's Mother's Day, so I'm going to let her live and let her have that one. But without further ado, let me introduce my mommy, aka JoJo Britt. Hi, Mom.
Everybody. Happy Mother's Day.
Move over a little bit so you're in the center of, yeah. We're in the same house too, guys. Don't be fooled. She's down the hallway. So happy Mother's Day. Welcome to tea time. Where's your tea?
You didn't make me any.
Oh, cool. I get that already. That's how we starting. Okay. All right. All right. I see. So where shall we begin? Tell us a story from back in the day. I always get
Mom is
a,
very shy, by the way, so this is kind of hard on me.
but it's just me and you. You don't see anybody.
But I know they're there.
So anyway, for those that don't know, well, I guess I'll start off. I'll break the ice. Um, Mommy started running track when you were 7
Yeah, about 7 or 8. Yeah.
in Twickenham, Great Britain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she had may still have some national records or Crystal Palace records, right? And
I don't know if they're still there. I did check a couple of years ago, and um, I was in the what you call it, the old results. But I don't know about the records. I do know I still have some records, but I don't know if they were actually at Crystal Palace. Put it
mm-hmm.
that way. Um,
Show
but
off
I
now.
think like in high jump and long jump, believe it or not.
Yeah, so you
So
were 100 long jump specialist. Sometimes you ran the 200. You cried to run the 200.
I hated the 200. I may have been better at the 200, but I hated it because it was longer than 100.
And then when you were 13, you moved to Trinidad
Yeah.
and you
Yep.
ran for
I ran for
Trinidad.
Trinidad. I ran for Trinidad for uh, 5 or 6 years. I ran for Trinidad until I had it in '86.
Mm-hmm.
and then um, and then I hung my shoe up.
All right. So I'll bridge that story in honor of Mother's Day. Mommy made the 84 Olympic team for Trinidad in the 100.
In the 100.
And then,
But I
mm,
got I I got hurt. Somebody threw a discus and it landed on my foot. So um, that was that.
so that
I
was
think that
19.
that I don't know. I always say everything happens for a reason. So because I don't, to this day, I don't understand how the discus left the discus, whatever they call it, where you throw it, the
Uh-huh.
circle,
The ring.
and landed at me. So everybody was training in the stadium, but it did. So luckily, it landed on my leg and not my head, because then you would be. So
All right. So 2 years later, you had me. And then you had
mhm.
the nerve, oh, go, we get a thumbs down already. Somebody's a hater. Anyway, 2 years later, you had me. And then you had the nerve to give me your middle name. So most people may or may not know that Natasha is my mother's middle name.
Mhm.
And then somehow, I guess she gave me my genes. And after you hung it up,
Some people would beg to differ.
so I
And
I also like to tribute a lot of my career to my mom because I feel like I get to finish what she didn't finish. So we will open up with that. And while she gets comfortable, we'll wait for her to tell some more stories about how she gave me licks until I was 13
but I did.
and I couldn't beat her out of the blocks and Ray,
Yeah,
Ray, Ray.
all true, all true, all true.
Whatever. VJ85 says, was just about to go downstairs, had a rough day. Hopefully, this will cheer me up and make me think about all those West Indian women that are going to be mothers for my children. Oh, God. Happy
You
Mother's
must
Day.
make sure you treat them well. Make sure you treat them
Make sure you treat them well. And then he said, but seriously, hi, Tanti.
well.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
VJ, is that the one who gave me the book in London?
I don't know. Because I was thinking that it was the Athletics Weekly that you were on the cover of, right? Or you were in.
I was in it. I wasn't on
Yeah.
the cover.
So I was
Yeah.
in London for a Diamond League meet. And I guess track fans, they just know who your lineage is. So someone knew that Joanne Gardner is my mother. Let me pull back up the thumbnail. That is my mom. This is a picture of her as British champ. Um, right? British junior champ.
British Junior champ. Yeah.
And so this gentleman stopped me in the hotel lobby and gave me the Athletics Weekly magazine that mommy was featured in. So,
But he also gave, I saw him when we went for the World Championships.
hmm
I met him in the subway, believe it or not. And I
hmm
think it was in the subway, and he gave me a copy of the book, which I should have had with me because my name's in it. So I should have been prepared to show everybody that my name made the book.
yeah,
But it
yeah.
was, if I'm giving credit, it was in reference to you and people who are affiliated with British athletes.
Oh,
And so they,
really?
yeah. And
Oh, so it
then,
was like a current Athletics Weekly
no,
magazine.
no, this was a book. This was an
Oh, okay,
athletic
okay, okay.
book that somebody did on
It
former
was
athletes.
him.
It was him. Okay. Fine.
Well, VJ, you're here I would say every week, but I've been inconsistent the last few weeks. But you're here for all the tea time, so thank you for the continued support from mommy on down.
Right, that's right. Yep, I was with my parents and Justin.
Yep.
So I showed them the book the whole way. I think we were going to the tour from the stadium. I had people looking at the book like, that's me. One little line. I don't care.
Ah, Lord. Oh, here it goes. Aaron says you and mom have about just about the same form. That's what she says. That's what she says.
All right. In all honesty, in that particular picture, we do look like each other. But when you're running, you have a different form than I did. I had ridiculously high knee lifts because that was the thing.
Hmm.
When you practice, you work on your knee lift and your arm action, and so I had really high knee lift, and I ran more upright. You have a longer stride,
Hmm.
and plus you're a 400 meter runner, which I would never, ever, ever in my life
But I thought
entertain.
when you said you cried to run the 200 because it was longer, I thought about and how you probably were better at the 200. I thought about how when I started out as the 100 200 runner, and Coach London said, "No, no, she's a quarter miler, but we'll let her have fun." And I cried
I
every
cried in
time
my head.
to run the 400, and they gave me 1 year at 100 and 200, and then I started after that I focused on the 400. So
And the
when
first 400 was at a meet with,
the
you were
older
running with
girls.
older girls.
Hmm.
And I was like, is he crazy? I was so mad. But I didn't, because it was Coach London, I said he knows what he's doing. So I didn't say anything. But I mean, you ran well, but
Yeah.
that at that point I said, okay, she is a quarter miler
Yeah.
who can run the 100 and the 100.
I was probably 9.5. It was a little bit before my 10th birthday, and I was
Yeah.
in the bantam age group. And get this, it was at Randall's Island, which is now the Icon
Yeah.
Stadium. So my very first 400.
Oh, shucks, sorry.
You don't have to apologize. There's no formal thing here.
Oh, I'm not.
So so yeah, so my first 400 was there, and then fast forward to 2013. The Icon Stadium is where I had sort of my breakout race after not doing well in 2012 and struggling to perform as a professional at the Icon Stadium. So, oh, this is a good question. What were your personal bests in your events, Mom?
Oh, wow. Um, I believe you should ask your grandfather that because he had them all written down. But I believe when I got to Trinidad, I ran 11:3. Mind you, I never trained. Let's put that in as a condition.
Here we go. I just
And
want
then
to say my PB is faster than that, but go
it
ahead.
is, it is. I'll give you that. But I still used to beat you before you got there. But anyway, and my 200, I think it ended up being like 22.8, something like that, 22.9. But yeah, I hated the 200. Funny though, I hated the 200. I ran 1 300 when I was at New York Tech, and I believe it was 37 something, and I loved that race,
The
but I hated it.
300?
Yeah, which makes no sense.
Yeah,
But
that
I
makes no
actually
sense.
loved how that race felt. So
Yes, we all remember that race. We were there
yeah,
too.
we were there.
2008. It was a bad
Yeah.
day for me, but Bolt had a great day. All right, so tell us some funny stories. Oh, one of my favorite stories is Hazley Crawford, that you talk about him. So Hazley Crawford is Trinidad's only, to this day, right? Only gold medalist in the
Yeah.
100. There he has a stadium in Trinidad named after him. He's still gold. He's Trinidad track and field uh,
Royalty.
royalty. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Give us a story about how Hazley used to carry you to the
I
stadium
wish
and
you
tell
had
you to put your
stories, but
feet up.
yeah. So when I got to Trinidad, I was I wouldn't say I was blessed. It's just Esther Hope was there. She was fantastic. Dennis Bernard. They were all a couple of years older than me. But for my age group, I was one of the best, if not the best. I'm not saying that to brag. That's just where I
Talk
was.
your talk, talk your talk. Don't get shy now. Don't get shy now.
So at the time, we used to run at the Rema Stadium, and so Paisley, my coach didn't like this because I ran for the Hampton Club. Coach Francis was the coach. He was really good, but I used to do 1 or 2 days with Paisley on my start. And that remind you of something? You did 1 or 2 days with somebody. Anyway,
Here we go.
but then when we would go to the track meets up at Arima, if my dad didn't carry me, Paisley would carry me. And he had, back then, the big American cars were like the gym thing. So I remember he had a big white one. And we would drive up in that. He could park in the stadium, so they would open the gates wide. So I would just lay there with my feet up like, the queen has arrived. And then for the final of the 100, he would come out and hold my blocks for me. So I do. I think I have a picture somewhere with him holding my blocks and standing up, looking like, okay, she's gonna win this one. So
And by this
I
time, this was the Olympic gold medalist of Trinidad and Tobago. And he's holding, how old were you? 15?
was like 15. Yeah,
Holding a 15-year-old's blocks.
I
But
was
she
good
says,
back
I'm
then.
spoiled.
I was good, and I was, but I was very shy, still am. And so there were, I think, a lot of things that were done were kind of to like boost my confidence and stuff like that. Because when I got to Trinidad, people didn't even wear panty shorts. Auntie Gail can tell you about that. I didn't know. So the first time I went to the stadium and they said the athlete strip, huh? When I took my pants down, everybody was like, "Oh my God!" And I already had these huge thighs. So I actually developed a complex about my thighs and how I look on the track. And so for a while, I was like, I don't even want to run. I want shorts like everybody else. But then people started putting elastic in their shorts to make panty shorts. So it was like, but yeah, there were only a few people who ran in panty shorts. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so, so I think a lot of it was just to kind of boost my ego a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and make me feel more comfortable because I was always very, very, very nervous. No matter what event, I would look at people and just think, "Oh, she looks good."
I wonder where I got that from.
Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, they weren't better than me. I just thought they were because they looked that way.
They look that way. Like DK Metcalf coming out of the blocks today. But anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
We will talk. We will have some chats about that. James Stewart wants to know: is there any pressure on you to have you not run for, or to have me not run for the United States?
I wouldn't say pressure because I felt at the end of the day it was her decision to make. Um, but if I'm being honest, I would have liked for her to have run a couple of years for the British team.
You've never
But
told me that.
I never told you that. That's why, because I always felt like that was your decision to make. Um, but deep down, I used to say, "My God, if she ran for Great Britain,
I'd be rich.
that would be." Oh yeah, well that's good. Yeah. Well, but
Well,
I
I
didn't feel
guess.
pressure. I didn't feel
Mhm.
pressure to make you run for the United States. It was kind of like a natural transgression. You went from youth track to high school to college to then you made world youth, and it was just basically made the team every year except 13, 12.
Mhm.
So it would have meant having to sit out with the new rules, and I don't think you ever. Right now, actually, you could run for Great Britain. Now that I think about
Okay, let's stop that talk there because I done. But I will say from very early on, I talk about having your name and finishing your legacy. But even very early on, I remember when I left XTC. XTC is the first team that I joined. Mommy took me off of the team because of commuting, and the training was just way too hard. My mom has always been an advocate that I have to have fun. Even at this age, she tells me, girl, you don't have nothing to prove to nobody. Go out there and just run. So, but my mom took me off that team because she didn't want me to get burned out. So I did 2 years on another team, Westbury PAL. Loved that team, but it wasn't the team for me, and I wasn't doing well. And so after I didn't make the final or something at Junior Olympics,
Yeah,
and
I think, yeah, you didn't make the final. And
I came back
Coach
to
Lang,
you, and I said, I know it's gonna be hard, but I have to go back to Coach London. And I don't even remember you saying anything, but I think you had a conversation with Coach London. Coach London formed his own team so that I could come back and train with him. But you gave me that choice. And I know that it was hard because you would leave work in the city, come back to Long Island. I think for a while, Coach London maybe even came to Long Island to pick me up
yeah,
to go to practice in Brooklyn. And then you would pick me up from Brooklyn to go back home, do homework, cook dinner, all the things to get ready for the next day. And then you let me choose where I went to high school. You let me choose where I went to college with some parameters. I couldn't go, I had to go to, the high school was a good high school. AP Randolph was in the top 5 in the city education wise. And then I had my pick of the litter to go to any university that I wanted to. And you said, you have to spend the next 4 years of your life there. So this is your choice. And then finally with the team, I have to represent, because even Jamaica came up, which
yeah,
is a household battle because my father is Jamaican. And of course, he wanted me to run for Jamaica, but it was my choice. And I never felt any pressure from you in that aspect. So I hope I can do the same, because I see Liam have a little tools, but I'll let him choose his sport. I'll let him choose his own sport.
yeah.
Aisha said, stop trying to take from Team USA. Yeah, well, we have enough talent. We have enough
We do have
talent.
a
We
lot
could
of talent.
share.
There's a lot of talent there. But again, that decision would be yours.
Um, Sorry, I got distracted. What was it like moving from the UK to Trinidad? How did you settle? Did you change up your accent?
I hated it. I literally hated it. We had no choice because my dad's job transferred him back home. And it took me 2 or 3 years to get settled, to tell you the honest truth. It was so different. The house we were renting at the time had no hot water. That I remember above everything. I was like, how could you not have hot water? And so I would complain every single day. I couldn't get fish and chips, which was big for me. I love fish and chips to this day. And my dad spoiled me rotten, but it was to the point where he wanted to send both me and my mother back to London because we complained about everything. And then when I joined the team, I was very, very, very shy. So I had no friends. Um, but then I made the drifter team to go to Bermuda or Bahamas, whichever one was the first. I don't remember. And Esther Hope took me under her wing. I have to give her all the credit. She took me under her wing and she was like, you can meet everybody and you can talk to everybody and you're going to have friends. And after that, I started to come out of my shell a little bit. So, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Now, if you ask me where's home,
Yeah,
honestly,
I
I
was
say
gonna
I'm going
say, yeah,
home.
Trinidad
Yeah,
is home.
yeah. But it took a while. It really did take a while. So,
The accent question is funny to me because I remember one time I had you on speakerphone And
Mm.
when I got off the phone, my girlfriend said, "Is your mom European?" And I was like, "European? No, she's." I said, "Oh yes, she's
Right.
British." So
But
sometimes
my
you,
accent,
and
I
I don't
actually,
hear it.
even that, I was so self-conscious of it. We went to Trinidad when I think I was like 7 or 8. We spent 6 months there, um, and we would go to the market with my grandmother, and they would actually pay us to talk. Um, so I came back with a little pan with all these Trinidadian coins in it. I thought I was rich. I had no money, but I thought I was rich. But they would pay to hear us talk because of the accent.
Hmm.
But then when I went back at 13, that was one of the things that drew attention that I didn't like.
Hmm.
So I would try to talk with a Trinidadian accent, and I ended up sounding more Jamaican than Trinidadian.
Well,
And that's where it comes from, where people think I'm Jamaican.
yeah, but
People
a
that,
lot of I do find that the Jamaican accent kind of, it is kind of similar to the British accent sometimes.
right.
So, which I mean, Jamaica was a British colony, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
um, have you ever considered leaving the U.S.?
Me? Um, if I didn't have kids, I would probably go back to Trinidad. I do miss it. I miss it's just a whole different lifestyle. It's like a rat race here. You're continually going, working.
Hmm.
I've been blessed the last 2 years, even though I'm still working, it's not the way I was. Um, but in Trinidad, when I go home, I mean, not to say they don't work, they just have a different attitude.
Yeah,
When I
I,
go home, I
I,
feel like
I.
they work, and then in the evenings they're hanging out. We don't do that. I'm sleeping.
No, I'm
Yeah,
always amazed. When I'm down there, it'll be like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'll wake up, and it's like nothing.
right.
I'm praying for Liam to let me sleep to 7 a.m. I'm not a morning person at all, but it's something about Trinidad where it is very relaxing and it doesn't feel like the same hustle and bustle.
Yeah. So
Um,
I have thought about leaving, but I think what I would do now is go home for a couple of months, and then come back up and spend a couple of months, and then go back home. But actually move in, I don't know about that.
all
Oh,
right.
you love my accent? Thank you.
So give us the famous 4x4 story.
Oh my God.
All right. So let me open it up for you. So my mom and dad went to New York Tech in Long Island, New York. Is it in Westbury?
It's in
It's
Old
in
Westbury.
Old Westbury. Um, and so we already talked about she was a 100 and 200 runner. And so a few weeks ago, we were watching, what meet was it? The Drake relays. And the 4x4 came up. And it's so funny how I'm 34 years old and she still has new stories. But let me tell you all, I cried laughing at this story because um, she told me how she's all American, which I knew because I remember seeing the plaques around the house. But she didn't tell me that she had to run the 4x4 this year because one of their legs, she got injured. So go ahead, take it away. Start from the setup.
Oh boy. Okay. So back then, because it was many, many years ago, my first year in college actually, and it was the last time that they had it, I believe. They didn't have NC2A women. Well, I think they had NC2A women's, but they also had a separate women's nationals. I think it
Mm.
was NI something or other.
NIAA,
Yeah, something like that. I don't
NIA,
remember
some
the.
yeah.
But anyway, so we go to this nationals. I qualified in the 1-2 4x1, and my roommate in college, Hillary, she was the quarter miler. She qualified in the 4, And I don't remember if she hurt her knee in the 400 or in the heats of the 4x4, but she hurt her knee anyway. And they said she can't run the final. And I'm like, oh my God. I'd never run a 400 at New York Tech, not even in practice. So I was like, they wouldn't have the audacity to put me in this 4x4. So, but they didn't say anything. That whole night, nobody said anything. I didn't even sleep because I was like, I know they're going to put me in this 4x4 because there was nobody else to run. And so the next morning, I come down to breakfast. We stayed on campus, and I come downstairs, and I felt like everybody was watching me. I don't know if they really were, but I felt like all the coaches from all the different schools were in on it. They still didn't say anything. I had breakfast. I couldn't even eat. Plus, I had the final of the 200, I believe. So we get to the track, and then my coach says,
Who was
"Joanne, you
it?
got to run."
Zeno or Burrows?
It was Coach Perone. He
Mm,
was the first coach there. Yeah.
okay.
He says, "Joanne, you have to run the 4x4." I'm like, "There's no way. I can't." There was this girl. She went to Villanova. I cannot remember her name, but she was the top girl in Villanova. And they said, they didn't even put me in the middle so that they could hide me. They said, "You're gonna anchor." I was like, "Anchor? You gotta be kidding me." I said, "You all want to finish the race?" They said, "You have to anchor." And everybody was like, "Listen, just pace yourself with," I can't remember her name. She was so pretty too. I always remember her being pretty. But anyway, they said, "Just pace yourself." I know she placed in it 400. So I did. I paced myself for 300 meters. I was like, "Oh, this feels good." Then I got to 310, 320. I was like, "Uh-oh, uh-oh." I got to 360, and let me tell you, the last 40 meters is the longest 400. If they time that, if they have a video of that and they time that, I'm sure it's the longest 40 meters ever run in American track. I literally felt like I was on my knees crawling in. But we did. I do believe we came second. I don't think anybody passed me, but it did hurt. I lay down. There was a table with all the Gatorade coolers on it. Man, I just lay down under there. I was like, "Listen, y'all, go get your award, do whatever you want. Just leave me alone." I don't know how you won that race. I'm telling you.
Did you
I always,
vomit?
I always give you advice on it, but I
The
just
nerve.
don't know.
The
The
nerve. You'd give
nerve.
me advice.
I'm always like, pump your arms, go on your toes. There's no such thing when you did.
No such thing.
But
Did you vomit?
I did. No, I didn't vomit actually. So I probably could have run
So you didn't
faster
run hard enough. You could have run faster, man.
because I didn't vomit. I felt very sick, but I didn't. I listen. Anyway, I'm not going to get so graphic here, but needless to say, I felt sick. I felt like I wanted to do everything that you do when you run a 400, but I didn't actually fall. No.
I had a question and it slipped my mind already. Oh, everybody laughing. Did
I
you
did run
still?
the 200. I can't remember where I came though. It's so long ago. I'm really old, people. Um,
This was about 35 or 36 years ago.
yeah, longer than that. 82, 83. Um, I know I was in China. I think I came like third or fourth. But yeah, I don't remember.
So
And the
when you
200 was before the 4x4, so I know
yeah.
I would have done the 200.
So when you see me running a 400, do you imagine that pain?
In the beginning, I did. When they first said you were going to be a quarter mile, I said, "This is insane. I can't put her through that." But
I
now,
would have never know that.
yeah. When you ran when you ran Friday, I actually felt a little bit a, li- hold on, a little bit like how I used to
I know. Let me
because
tell you
I
how I
kept
know.
saying,
I
"Are
said
you
something to
okay?"
you and you lie.
I said,
Because
"Are you okay?"
when I was so I ran at the University of Houston on Friday, and I had to mommy was sitting on the bottom row of the bleachers with Liam. So I saw them as I was walking to the start of the line. And when I walked by, I saw mommy sitting there rocking and rubbing her knees. I said, this woman is nervous. That's how she used to do before all of my, I guess you still do it.
I still do it. I still
I
get nervous, which is, I'm telling you, enjoy it and have fun with it because you don't have anything to prove. But I don't know. I just still get really nervous whenever you walk out. So,
All
yeah.
right. Well, what did you think of my race this weekend? Or
Um,
races?
I thought you ran really well. If anybody looked at the time, they'll be like, "Oh, Hastings is done." But I never bet against my kids, so I know what I saw and what I know I could get capable of doing. So I still see a little apprehension, like, can I really do this? Or not totally trusting your training yet. But I thought you ran really well. I like how you finished.
The 400 or the 200?
Both of them actually. The 200 you didn't run the turn at all, and I saw them getting away, and I was nervous because I felt like once you came off the turn and you realized your position, you might push too hard and the hamstring would be sore again. But I didn't hear any argument about the hamstring hurting, so I guess you're okay. And you won,
Yeah,
so
I was a little bit
was good.
tentative.
Yeah.
I was definitely tentative. So, your mother might be nervous, but nothing will ever top Andrew Howe's mother in 2007 Osaka during the long jump. I think I
Oh, I
remember
remember
this.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my first world championships. I think I remember that.
Whatever happened to him? He was
VJ,
really
VJ,
good.
I know you know. So tell us what what happened to Andrew Howe, please. We know you know. What else should we talk about? This was so unplanned, guys. So keep your questions coming. Um, how do you feel about possibly not being in Tokyo?
Um, of course, I would love to be there if you made the team. Which, like I said, I don't bet against my kids, so there may be people saying, "Ah, no way," but I'm putting you on the team. But I understand also with the virus that
Hmm.
this may be one of those times where it's just better if people stay put. I'm fully vaccinated, but some people aren't.
Yes, this household is fully vaccinated. VJ 85. This is the one. I wish West Indian parents were that kind and analytical and nice when it came to our grades. This right here, this is the one. This is the one. Because let me tell y'all, I used to bring home 90s. This isn't 100. What happened to the other 10 points? I'm
I
telling you.
wasn't that bad. You remember alphabetical order?
Oh, God. You want me to tell the story or you to tell it?
You could tell it.
Man, what grade was I was in like the third or fourth grade. And I couldn't get alphabetical order. We won't
I
get
couldn't
into the detail.
understand it.
We won't get into details, but let's just say it was the one and only time in my life my mother gave me licks. And I got the alphabetical order after that.
Uh, I
I
couldn't understand. I said, how can you not understand alphabetical order? She would get the first letter, the second letter, and then after that, it was like F came before A. I'm like, Tasha. I did feel bad after because when they had parent teachers night, and I told them, she can't get alphabetical order, and they were like, well, you know what? As bright as she is, there are sometimes just some things that just do not click. It doesn't. Did you ever get
oh gosh, come on. Yes.
it?
All right, Mr. Man is stirring up. So we'll take a couple more questions. What's your favorite meet that Tasha ran in?
Oh wow.
Let's pick a college
Um,
meet. Let's narrow it down. A college meet.
college meet, I'd have to say 2007 when you won the. Wow, it's a toss up between indoor and outdoor. I think indoor because it was just final validation that yeah, she still got it and she can do it. And I think then you totally believed, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, because so indoor nationals, I set the collegiate record, which it was Sonia's record
Right.
at that time at like 50.88. And I wasn't even eyeing the record. I don't even know if I was eyeing winning, even though I was having a good season up to that point. I was undefeated up until that point. Or I was undefeated
I
that
think
whole
Kaneke
year.
was actually the favorite.
Yeah, she
Kaneke,
was the favorite. And so when I won and then looked at the clock and saw the time and then saw the time and realized it was a national record, all of it was a shock because it wasn't even, and none of that was on my mind. I had no idea that I could break 51, or because I think before that, maybe my PB was like 51.5 or something.
yeah,
Or maybe it was a little bit faster because I do remember SECs that year was on an oversized track. It was on a
right.
300 track.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, uh, I'll take
Want me to
one
get
win
in?
and then I'll go for him. Um, Unless you want to go for him and bring him on camera, people might want to see him.
Okay, let me go for him real quick.
All right, let me. Y'all all in the business. I'll bring her back up when she comes back. Thank you guys for this. Those of you that are here, um, we didn't, like I said, we weren't able to schedule a time because we had to do it around Liam's nap time, which is about this time, but sometimes he throws a monkey wrench for us. Aisha, I saw you throw out there about, oh, yes, yes. Shout out to Coach London. Yep. He actually was my first Mother's Day text this morning, too. We're still very much in touch. Um, Plans for the rest of the day. We are going to go have lunch and go shopping. My mom gave me some money for Mother's Day and told me to spend it on myself because these days all my money goes on my son. So we're going to do that. Oh, they're back. Why that face? Hi.
Who's that?
Hi. He could get vexed.
Who's
Liam.
that? Is that mommy? Huh? Say
I was
hi.
just telling them our plans for now that he's up. We're going to go to the mall and spend
Yeah,
some money on us instead of on Liam.
we could at least we're gonna try.
Yes. Um
What?
okay.
What happened?
Um Okay, who are your favorite people on the track circuit? Who's your favorite Brit? Linford Christie. You can't choose Dina Asher Smith. Her grandma is Trini. No bias. That's not fair. Well, Dina Asher is my favorite for obvious reasons. She's fast, and then to see her doing all these fashion, like modeling things and getting all of these endorsements, I think she's just incredible, and I especially love that. I hope this is taken the right way, but to especially see a dark black
Oh, you
woman
took the words right out of my mouth.
doing the things that she's doing, I Dina Asher is my hands down favorite. So sorry, not sorry.
I kind of agree with that.
But
Yeah.
you can't teeth my favorite. You don't have another favorite.
No, really, I don't. I like her.
Yeah, I really have a and I'm gonna ask her to come on Tea Time too. But I really like Dina Asher a lot.
I liked
Um,
when she was running. I did like Perry.
mm-hmm. Perry too, yeah.
She just has a nice what do you call that? Presence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else do I like out there? You trying to hang it up?
Hi, Stinky.
Why are you trying to hang up?
Okay. What? This is a joke. To
What?
help prevent 2021 lane violations, a ring of fire will be ignited around the track, citing an onslaught of inside lane violation disqualifications. What do you think about this change? That has to be a joke.
I never heard that.
I'd never heard that. That's a hazard.
Okay, okay. What? What's the matter?
You ready for lunch? Yes, VJ agrees. I love DSQ. That is Dina. Melanin magic. Mm-hmm. 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 Liam's gonna come back with like 3/4 new things.
Yeah,
Maybe
he
you'll
will.
buy yourself one thing. Nah, I ain't playing that. I ain't buying him nothing. Nothing for you. None for you. All right.
Hi, tell people
Yeah,
hi.
Stacy, this will be up. And thank you for your continued support. Um, yes,
Okay.
and I found Christine on Instagram the other day. I need to send her a DM. I do want to bring Christine on Tea Time as well. All right. I guess we'll wrap it up before Mr. Man turns it up.
Okay, okay, we're hanging up
See,
now.
there we go. Well, thank you, Mummy. I know this was hard for you,
It
but you
wasn't as
job
bad as
well
I
done.
thought. Thank you.
And hopefully you'll come back again.
Yep, after you make the team.
Okay. We'll do a reaction video. We can do one either or, whether I make it or not.
That's true. That's true.
What was your parent question? Let me scroll up. Oh, I missed it. I can't see it. I'm sorry. Um, oh. What is one piece of advice you would give to parents, not just track stuff? I mean, being a parent. I want at least one child. Lord have mercy. I guess I'll go first. One piece of advice. I think the thing I'm working on hardest is allowing Liam to have a voice and understand his voice. And by that, um, I mean not only allowing him to have some autonomy and say so, but also emotional maturity and understanding how he feels and expressing how he feels, and not making him feel like I don't want to be that parent that says, don't cry, that kind of thing. So That's my word of advice. Mommy, yours?
Oh my God. You just kind of took what mine is. I mean, just let them be, right? And have fun.
Hmm.
Don't take life so seriously.
That's why you're always smiling.
Yeah, I really don't get stressed. I don't let stuff bother me. I try to just figure out how I can move past it. But um, you know, and don't lose faith.
Hmm.
I always say everything happens for a reason, even the bad stuff. So um, the goal is to try to grow from even the bad stuff, and that's what I hope you guys do. I've been through some stuff. I could tell you some stories,
And I've
but
been there with you.
you're there with me. But I think that too, that helped to develop who I've become. Hopefully, a somewhat decent person. So
Yeah, I think so.
take the good with the bad, and be thankful for every day.
Hmm. All right. Aisha says we're speaking, making the team. And I think that's the best way to end this live.
Right.
Thank you. Cheers to me making the team. And I don't know, hopefully Tokyo comes to their senses and all they can come to Tokyo.
Right. I mean, it would be nice if we could go, but I do understand them saying no because they have all those people there um, from every country.
Yeah. I'm also still a breastfeeding mother, so maybe they'll take that into consideration that I can't be
Yeah.
away from my child.
Yeah. Never know.
I could try everything.
Try everything. Exactly.
All right. Well, happy Mother's Day. Thank you for joining
Happy
us.
Mother's Day. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we will go and eat we belly full now and spend some money. Oh,
Right?
you saying bye? Say bye bye.
Bye.
You don't have time. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.